Tim Collins with Cullman Today. I'm out with Representative Randall Shedd. We're out in nature today. Randall, I was lucky to catch you. You're so busy down in Montgomery that it was nice to get a few minutes of your time. Thank you.
My pleasure. Glad to visit.
Now, I've been watching the goings-on down in Montgomery, and you've got your usual work as representative, bills coming and going, readings. But you and Representative Harbison kind of stepped out in the public view this week and kind of front and center in the proposed impeachment of the governor. Can you tell me a little about your thought process behind that?
Well, I've had a lot of people tell me that that was a little bit out of character, and I guess it is. I like to be a quiet life. As I told another news outlet, I liked the quiet life, chasing grandbabies. But I felt like that this was such a blatant disrespect for the people of Alabama that I just couldn't take it any longer. And I've told this face to face to Governor Bentley. You know, if you have a disagreement with somebody, you really need to look them in the eye and face them with that disagreement. And I didn't tell him. I haven't said anything in the news media that I didn't say to Governor Bentley in a respectful way. But the trip on the airplane to the inauguration with Ms. Mason, I felt that sent us a message that that hasn't changed. I feel like that possibly she is having an undue influence on decisions in state government, and I expressed that to Governor Bentley. I felt like that the appointment of former Attorney General Luther Strange, under the circumstances, was just a blatant disrespect for the people of Alabama, and I just couldn't take it any longer.
Well, the sentiments you're expressing to me, I think of many people, not just in the state of Alabama, but around Cullman County, share that. There's something about it just doesn't seem right all around.
Well, Representative Harbison and I had been talking all weekend prior to Tuesday when we went back to Montgomery with the resolution, and we had a telephone conversation, and we just decided to meet around midnight Monday night, and we met and talked about it and made the decision, and somehow it got loose, and we didn't call the state news media, but before we could get to Montgomery, it was wildfire. So, but that's okay, you know. That was not our intent. I'm not looking for headlines statewide, or I'm not running for anything statewide. I'm not plan to run again for re-election when the time comes. But that was not what. It was just very frustrating to me. And I've been a supporter of Governor Bentley's up until the inauguration trip, and I did not sign the original petition to impeach, but I just don't think the state can stand 2 more years of what we've been going through in the last year in the governor's office, and we have some serious problems we need to be addressing, and I'm just concerned that we may not be able to find the proper solution to all these problems that we've got in the state under the circumstances.
Well, I understand your point of view, and I agree with it, but if this was just happening inside the confines of the state of Alabama, it'd be one thing, but this gets out into the world. I mean, it reflects on Alabama as a state and the people of it in a not so positive light around the nation, around the world. To me, that's as much of a problem as anything.
I complimented Governor Bentley when he appointed Jim Bennett, when the Secretary of State's position became open. I thought he did a great job. Jim Bennett agreed not to be a candidate for re-election. He just finished out very capably because of his experience and all. He finished out the term that was vacant and let all the people run that wanted to. So I would like to have seen that happen with the U.S. Senate appointment, but I'm very troubled about that. Now, I think that the new Attorney General, I'm real pleased with Steve Marshall. I think he's from Marshall County, which is one of my counties in my district. Got to know him. Everything I ever hear said about him is described with one word: integrity. So that makes me feel better, about the current Attorney General's office. But anyway, that's how I feel.
That's how you feel, and I think the key word that you used there was integrity. I think a lot of folks would like to see that return in full to state government, and it's going to take people like you and Representative Harbison. Ed Henry's been on the record for a long time. Unless you men step forward and do it, it's not going to happen, I don't think.
Well, something like this, we need to be very careful about it, but I think we have been careful, and I think now's the time to do something. People's confidence in state government has to be restored. I think we did that in the Speaker of the House situation. You know, I was one of 8 that voted against a former speaker in caucus, and wanted to make a change there at that time when the opportunity came, but it didn't happen. And I don't want to see us. We operated for a year with a cloud over the House in the last regular session, and even in after that. But I think we made progress in the House of Representatives now. But state government as a whole is people are very suspicious.
I agree with you 100%, and there's lots of voters and citizens who will back you up on that. Representative Shedd, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.